Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do a distance versus time graph on a Google Sheet. What you do is firstly decide how much space you need depending on how big your screen is. If your screen is a bit short, when all this sort of stuff comes up, this working space might be a little bit small, so you click on that little arrow there and you've got a little bit more space for when you draw your graph. If the arrow is down, if you've got plenty of room and you want to have all access to this stuff, you can go Insert Chart, which works beautifully. And if you need more space, you click on the three dots there and there's an insert chart there. So I went ahead and clicked that and there it is. It says no data because I now need to tell the computer what I want on my chart, what sort of chart I want. So let me do that. I don't want a column chart. I want what's called a smooth line chart. And still it says no data because it's waiting for me to tell it what data I want. So there's the data range. Data range is the y-axis. That D15 is because I've already selected D15 somewhere. But I can click on that, get rid of that D15 and highlight only what I want on the y-axis. They're the data points that I want. And I click OK. And there you have it there, 0 to 20. 0, 20 on the chart, but the computer doesn't yet know what I want on the x-axis. So I click x-axis, click on the select a data range, and I just highlight that, and there it is there, and there is my graph. That's the basic picture of the graph using the data. And this particular sprint at the 1 second mark was kind of approximately 3.5 meters from the start. At the 2 second mark was maybe 8 meters or so. 3 second mark, kind of 14 meters or so. And it's kind of curving upwards because, of course, when you're in a sprint race, you start off slow, but you get faster and faster. And that's what this increasing gradient does. But we can make the graph proper by putting in axis titles and that kind of thing. So if you double click it, chart and axis titles. So there's the chart title, what I'm going to call it, distance versus time. And there it is there. And of course you can change the font and color and that kind of thing. If I horizontal axis title, which of course is the x-axis. So I've already done that on a practice run that I did. So if I click time, there it is there. And if I do the vertical axis title, again I did it earlier in a practice run, and there's distance there, and up it comes, distance in meters, time in seconds. I can also double click this. I can change the line color if I like, but I like to have the actual data points on the graph, not just the trend line that the computer puts in. So I can say 7 point, maybe too big, whatever, 2 point, maybe too small, who knows, but I can actually see the data points that were recorded when we collected the data. And that basically looks pretty good. Now I don't like this 3 here just being the last number and then the data continuing up to here. So if I double click the graph, I can go customize again. Horizontal axis, maximum value, I really want it to be 4. And if I now scroll across, I can see that the data goes up to the 4. You can also change the grid lines. So grid lines and ticks, I can go to there. So I can go minor grid lines. The problem here is that you go, that's 1, and then you've got 0.3, 0.66, well, 0.33, 0.66, and so on. No one likes thirds in a graph. No one likes thirds. So get rid of those. There's the minor count there. It defaults to 2 lines in between the major grid lines, but you can put it to 3, and then that becomes 0.25, 0.5, 0.751. You could argue that that's not good either. So if I put 4 lines in between, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1, and that's probably better. And you can do the same thing on the distance side with the vertical axis. I can put in minor grid lines, But again, it defaults to 2, so 5 divided by 3, 5 thirds, 10 thirds, 15 thirds. No one wants thirds. Thirds are annoying. So I can put in 4 spaces in between, which gives me 5. And then it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can read it. If you like it, you can change the color and do all that as well. You can also, if you want, click on the actual chart area and just reposition and resize just so that it takes up more space within the graph area. And then you can copy and paste into a word processor or do whatever you like. That's how you draw a distance versus time graph using Google Sheets.